Hello dear friends, welcome to Gate Academy Global. So before starting today's session, I would like to have the input or the concurrence regarding the quality of video as well as audio. If it is perfect, just write perfect over the live chat and then we are ready to go ahead. So tell me, what about the quality of video as well as audio which is getting transmitted from my side? Is it perfect or not? If it is perfect, just write perfect over the live chat. Anyways, the agenda behind today's video has been very precise and clear. We are going to take around 10 to 11 different kinds of the problem based on the concept of the permutation and combination. So the student who have attended my last class, they would have a little bit idea about the permutation and combination and what are the different situations where the concept of the permutation do come and what are the different scenarios where the concept of the combination do come. If you wanted to have the fast recap, in last video at very beginning I introduced the concept of combination. I wrote mathematically NCR, that indicates in how many different ways the R number of items can be selected, can be collected, can be withdrawn out of N number of items without keeping order in our mind. What was the worth of NCR? The worth was N factorial divided by of R factorial N minus of R factorial. R factorial N minus of R factorial were the component towards denominator side, and similarly N factorial were the component towards numerator side. In the same sequence, we discussed about the permutation. The basic difference between the combination and the permutation was only the thing that in case of combination, the order has not made any of the impact. But in case of permutation, definitely is going to have the impact. And once you have the order in your mind, so what is happening, if you have selected the two number of item, even their ordering could have been done into the 2 factorial different ways. If you are selecting R, which has been 3 number of items together, that 3 items could have been ordered in 3 factorial in different ways. So what is happening over here? If out of N number of items, if you have selected the R number of items, and after selecting, if you are doing its ordering, how many ways exactly it can be done? It can be done NCR into of R factorial ways. I repeat, NCR into of R factorial ways. And as far as the basic formula of the NCR is being concerned, it has been written as a N factorial divided by of R factorial N minus of R factorial. So here it's the right time to smash R factorial together, because that had been the component towards numerator as well as denominator. End of the day, you have been getting NPR is equals to of N factorial divided by of N minus of R factorial. We were also discussing what about the nature of N. The nature of N would always be a natural number, because you have been talking about the count, you have been talking about the numbers, you have been talking about the items, people, machines, nuts, bolts, ICs, transistors. Put together, you are just making a count. And as you have been making a count, one thing has been quite sure, the values of N and R are supposed to be the natural number. Obviously, if you will start counting number of items, you will start from 1 and straight away you will jump it to the 2. You know where you are going to pick anything in between 1 to 2, and similarly straight away you will jump to 3, 3 to 4. As far as the natural way of counting is being concerned, always they have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So as far as the N is being concerned in combination as well as permutation, as far as the R is being concerned, in case of permutation and combination, they had to be a natural number, because the natural numbers are being used for the counting the items, Agreed? That part we have seen earlier. Yes. And here, as we have been selecting, as we have been collecting, as we have been withdrawing the R number of items out of N number of items, one conclusion we can retrieve out of it, and what it is, sir? R is always supposed to be lesser than or equals to of N. At the worst of the worst scenario, the number of R could be very same as number of N. That means all of the items has been selected together. So as far as the range of R is being concerned, it would start from 1 and would go till maximum N. Similarly, in the sequence of few of the important conclusion, we derived NC1 is equals to of N. How did I know about it? See, at a time, we are just retrieving one item out. How many ways it could have been done? You could have selected first item, second item, third item, fourth item, and how many total number of items you had? The N number of total items you had. So how many possibilities, how many combinations, how many selections, how many withdrawal you can have out of N number of items if you are picking one item, obviously in the N different ways. So in future, when we have been dealing with NC1, keep in mind the result would always be N. In the same sequence, if we move forward, now you have taken a hypothetical situation, the N number of total items you had, and out of N number of items, if you have been selecting all of N number of items together, That means it had been NCN. The order had not come into the picture. May you know what would be the worth of it? It's gonna be 1. Because here you do not have left out with other option. You have been collecting all of them together, and that event, that instance can be taken only once. That instance can be taken only once. Sir, will you complete whole probability? Yes, Satyam, I will. It would be very helpful if you complete whole chapter. Definitely, probability I am going to complete. There is no doubt as such. Yes, as far as the probability is being concerned, definitely I am going to cover the complete probability. Complete probability. Similarly, if I take another scenario, rather taking NC1, if I take NCR where the value of R had been n minus of 1. What would be the worth of it? Here also the result would be n. Why? Because n number of items, together n minus of 1 item you have been selecting. That means you might be leaving the first item, second trial you might be leaving the second item, in third trial you might be leaving the third item, and in nth trial you might be leaving the nth item. So how many permutation and combination, not permutation exactly, how many combinations you will be making. So one thing has been quite sure, as far as the NC n minus of 1 is being concerned, the result would always be n now. The result would always be n now. Agreed? So till this point I don't find any of the student would have any sort of doubt. So what are the different conclusions which we have seen in the last class? I think it's the right time to just list down over the digital board. So the student who have been new to my channel, or the student who could not attend the yesterday's class, they'll have the fair idea about it. They will have the fair idea about it. So here goes the important formula. So here goes the important formula. Or important conclusion which I wanted to write over here. So in future, whenever I refer combination, so mathematically it would be referred as NCR. Whenever I write permutation, it would be mathematically referred as NPR. Similarly, few of the important conclusion I have retrieved out of it, that we can write over here. May I know what was the first one? The first one was, whenever I say the concept of the combination is being used, so basically I have been using NCR, and the worth of the NCR is already been seen. It has been n factorial divided by of r factorial, n minus of r factorial. I am not going into the detailed study of the n and r. They have to be a natural number, and the r would always be less than equals to of n. That we have already seen. Instead, the combination, for a few specific kind of the problem, we might be interested finding its permutation. What used to be the relationship between permutation and combination? Most of the time the permutation would remain greater than the value of combination, and the result which we have already derived in the last class, NPR is precisely equals to of R factorial getting multiplied with the NCR. So what's happening over here? R factorial, NCR is getting multiplied with R factorial would also get multiplied over here. It's going out, and the result which is going to come in our hand is simply going to be n minus of r factorial, that we have already seen. In the same sequence, if we'll go ahead, we have already seen the NPR is supposed to be greater than the value of NCR in most of the case, except r is equals to 1. That is also we've seen. So here we have seen the NCR is equals to of NPR only and only if the one item is being selected. Because if you have been selecting one item, what's the orthodox with the one item? See, there the order would not come in effect, no? Until and unless you are not bringing at least the two item out, the concept of the order would not come into the picture. Obviously, that is why whenever the value of r becomes 1, the NPR as well as NCR is supposed to be very same. In the same sequence, few of the important conclusion I would say you should have in your brain, and that had been NCN would always be 1, which you have already seen, because only one way if you are collecting out of n number of items, all n number of items together. And similarly in the sequence, we have seen NC1. That means out of n number of items, you have been picking one item together. That means you have been selecting one item. So how many ways you can do? Like you have a box, 3 number of balls you had. How many ways one ball can be selected? You can select the first ball, you can select the second ball, you can select the third ball. How many ways it had been done? Obviously 3 ways it had been done. Put together, if you have the n number of items, in n different ways it could have been done. In the same sequence, if we go forward, instead the 1, if I have taken the reference of r as n minus 1. So here also the number of ways it would have been done would be n. How? if you have the n number of items, you have left the first item and you collected all of the n minus of 1 items together. That would be the first combination. In the second way, you could have, you left the second item, you picked the first item, and you rest of the items is also been picked. How many ways it could have been done? In first way, one has been left out. In second way, the second has been left out. In third way, third has been left out. So how many number of combinations, how many number of combinations you will be making? So obviously you will be making n number of combinations, n number of combinations. That is also okay, sir. That is also okay, sir. See why I am writing this, because unnecessarily in mathematics, the people used to spend so many unwanted amount of time, specifically while calculating its permutation as well as combination. So I would request to all of you, at least have this fair idea. At least have this fair idea. In the same sequence, if we'll move forward, if we apply the permutation over npn, the result had been n factorial. If you'll be able to recall, yes. So this thing we have already seen in the last class. So I don't find any of the students would have any sort of doubt, at least at this moment of mind. In the same sequence, let me move forward. See what had happened over here. Here the n and r, one thing is being quite sure, the n and r, they were the family from the natural number, or they were the subset from the natural number. What does it mean by the natural number? As far as the natural number is being concerned, it has been a set of all natural numbers which are used for counting, which starts from 1, 2, 3. Obviously, the negative integers would not be associated, and similarly, the value in between 1 and 2, 2 and 3 would not be associated. So probably till this point, I don't find any sort of problem you guys would have. So I just wanted to ask from one thing. So lighting has changed a bit. So just wanted to ask from you guys whether the quality of lighting is okay, or it has been deteriorated, or it has been improved, because the structure of the lighting has been changed a bit. So that is what I wanted to ask. In compare with the lighting, in compare with the quality of video which we had at the session we had at 6:30, sorry, whether it has been improved, whether it has been decreased, or whether it's okay, So obviously you should write either I, increased, decreased, or okay. The same quality we have been getting. Just wanted to know from you. So at least I can rearrange that lighting segment and we can got it back. Yes sir, okay now. Okay then I think it's right time to go back to the set of numerical which we are supposed to take in today's lecture. Nissan says perfect, I must say clear, deteriorated, decrease. Okay, we'll see that. Okay then. Anyways, the type of problem which we are going to take in today's class, at very beginning, I would not be taking the problem related to the probability. I would just be playing with the problems related to the permutation and combination. How many ways the R items could have been selected out of n number of items, with order, without order. If the problem do come from the concept of with order, obviously the permutation would come into the picture. And similarly, if it comes without order, obviously combination would come. So how many different questions we are going to take in today's class? So probably 10 different kinds of the problem we are going to take in today's class. And if the time permits, we are going to take the problems related to the probability which has been based on the concept of permutation and combination. But that solely depends how far we would be able to go with this many questions. Anyways, for the each and individual question, what I am saying, for each and individual question, I am going to give you around 60 seconds. So read by yourself and try to give the best most answer. And the student who are trying to give the answer for any sequence of the problem, they should put the question number first, and then they should write the answer what they are supposed to get. Anyways, the problem must be visible to all of us. That is why it has been taken in such a bold manner. Go ahead with the first question. The problem states the number of ways 2-digit long number can be fabricated using 2, 3, 4, 5 without repetition. What does it mean of it? Out of the 4 different number or digits what we have, picking the 2-digit out of that, we are going to fabricate the 2-digit long number. How many ways it could have been done? So I want the answer from each one of you. What would be the best most answer for this given problem? what would be the best most answer for this given problem, and here goes solution, and here goes the solution. Solution. Anyways, I don't want the answer from each one of you. You just write in terms of combination and permutation. First write, like if you are getting the answer as 3C2, so you should write 3C2 and is equals to whatever the answer you have been getting, you can put it after. But rather focusing over the number, rather focusing over the answer, focus whether we have been getting 5C2, 4C2, 5P3. So I am not focusing over the number at all. Because once you are done with the proper symbolic diagram or the proper symbolic structure of the given problem, no, number you would be able to get that perfect only. As such, at that moment of point, I don't find that most of the students do any mistake. The mistake used to take place where we used to decode the problem, and most of the time we find difficult ourselves that the problem would fall under the permutation or combination. Permutation or combination. That is what I am saying. Manju Sudha Khan, the answer what you have given 12, no. First you should write whether it has come from 4C2, 4P2, and then you should write whatever the exact answer you have been getting. So exact answer is not my area of concern. My area of concern, how well you have decoded the problem. How well you have decoded the problem. Here it's clearly visible. There is no doubt, not at all. It has been clearly visible. Because I am getting the feedback on my monitor, definitely it's completely visible. So Manju Sadhu Khan, so I would just repeat my phrase once again. Whenever you are trying to give the answer for any sort of problem, no, you should give the answer in a form of NPR, NCR. So as per the Manju, the answer is been 4P2, and as per the Nissan, the answer has been in a form of 4P2. And Pooja Reddy says it has been 4P2. Pranali English says the answer has been 4P2. Just try to understand what had been the basic behind this complete problem. We had the 4 different digits. They were 2, 3, 4 and 5. How many number of items we had? Although in here the items had been the number of digits, but the number of items what we had is being 4. And out of 4 number of items, you are going to select only 2 items at once, because you are going to fabricate a number which is a 2-digit long. So one thing has been quite sure, you are going to frame a number which has been 2-digit long. For the time being, if I have selected 2 and 3 together, so the first possibility could have been 2 and 3, and the second possibility could have been 3 and 2. Although we have selected 2 and 3 together, but as far as their ordering is concerned, they have been making the 2 different number. What does that mean of it? You have been selecting the 2 number of items out of 4 number of items, but their orderings are making the different combinations. So as far as this problem is being concerned, out of 4 number of items, you have been selecting the 2 number of items. That's well and good, but their ordering do also make sense. If you want, I can write all of 12. So at very beginning, 2 and 3 has been selected. In future, you can select 3 and 4. Yes. How many possibilities you will be having? 2 number of possibilities you will be having. Obviously, you can chatter the sequence of 3 and 4. So I would request to each one of you, the person who have been following me, try to write all of the 12 different permutations we would be having for this problem. This has been first, yes. Similarly, instead of 3, 4, you could have picked out 4 and 5. Again, 4 and 5, if they have been reshuffled, they would make the 2 different conditions. Yes, sir. That is also fine. And then you would make a relationship between 2 and 4. Then you will make the relationship between 2 and 5. Then you will make the relationship between 3 and 5. So put together what's happening over here. You have been making the pair of 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 2, 4, 2, 5, 3, 5. How many ways? 6 different ways. And now the each and individual is going to get multiplied with 2. End of the day, the result which we are supposed to get is being 12. So the best method to crack this problem would have been, we had 4 number of items, and out of 4 number of items, we are not only going to select the 2 number of items, even we are ordering also. So here the formula which we have used earlier, here it becomes 4 factorial, and towards denominator side what we used to have, 4 minus of 2 factorial. 4 factorial would be equals to a 4 into 3 into 2 factorial, and 4 minus 2 factorial would be 2 factorial. Factorial and factorial is going to go out, and the end of the day, the result which we have had in our hand is going to be 12. Which we had our hand, it's been 12. It's been 12. Yes. What the people are saying? It's been cutting or what? Let me see. Just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. Probably everything would be okay now. Probably everything would be okay now. Now tell me, everything is okay or not? Just a minute, just a minute. Let me reset the camera once again. So probably everything would be fine now. Now everything would be fine. Agreed, no? So this has been the first question. This has been the first question. Agreed? So in the same sequence, what we are going to do, let me go back into the working board. Let me go back into the working board. Yes? Now let me take another scenario. May I know which are the states you are from? So probably Subhangi, I know you are from. Nisant, I know you are from. So probably tell me which are the different states you have been from, because I am going to take a practical example. I am going to take a practical example. I am going to take a practical example. Yes, yes, yes. Manju Sadhukan, whether you will take class in app today? Obviously it would be. Until and unless it's not been communicated that we won't have class today, it's but understood that we would have class today. We would have class today. West Bengal, Delhi, anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to take one practical problem. So obviously you would be able to relate that numerical or that problem from your corresponding states. So what we are going to do, so obviously Karnataka, Pooja Reddy is from Karnataka, Subhangi is from Himachal Pradesh, West Bengal, Delhi, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. See, if I am supposed to take one problem, we used to have vehicles in each and individual states, and the vehicles number which has been given follows a certain strict structure. May I know what it is been? And like if your bike is from Telangana, it used to be TS, Telangana state, and then here comes the code of district. It comes the code of district, and there comes the 6 different box. The starting 2 box is being dedicated towards alphabet, which could be anything in between A to Z, and here comes the 4 different numbers, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Should I be repeating once again? Yes. Tamil Nadu, I have been there. Murugan Civil, I have been there in Tamil Nadu for the 5 years, near to Chennai. Saplama, Murugan. Okay, so I have been there near to Pondicherry, 5 years I have been stayed there. Okay, so focus over this. Similarly, in case of Tamil Nadu, it would be TN. Okay, so what is happening over here? This is starting 2 space were fixed. For the alphabets, and similarly, the last 4 digits were, or 4 blocks were fixed towards the digits. So may I know, if you have fixed your state, if you have fixed your district, how many distinct number can be fabricated? Within the same district? Agreed? Like in Maharashtra, it used to be MH. Obviously, the different district, you will be having the different numbers. Tell me how many different ways it can be done. Now nobody should use the concept of permutation and combination. Why? Because I am not saying they cannot be repeated, they can be repeated. No, how many different ways this could have been filled? It could be anything in between A to Z. How many ways it could have been filled? So it would be 26. Similarly, here also do come alphabet. How many ways it could be? 26. Similarly, how many different ways this block could have been fixed? You can start from 0 and you can go till 9. So 10 possibility you have 10 possibility you have and 10 possibility you have. 10 possibility you had. Aniket, what does it mean here? You just go nearby. If you have been a bike nearby or you have been a car nearby, just see how used to be. How used to be. Again, mistake people are doing. What I am saying, the bike or car, towards a bike and car, we used to have a number plate. No, in number plate, how the structure used to be. The structure at the very starting, you used to have a specific symbol for your state, and then goes district, and then they used to have the 2 starting alphabet and the remaining 4 would be the digit. 4 would be the digit. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given question. My dear friends, this problem is not at all connected with the permutation and combination, because all 26 alphabet can come over here. Agreed? And similarly, here the repetition is also being possible. If you want, you can see even in my bike we had AA. That means the repetition is being possible. So here 26 different ways the alphabet could have been fed in. 26 different ways the alphabet could have been fed in. 10, 10, 10 and 10. Here the repetition is being possible. No? Repetition is being possible. So if we'll multiply them together, so it becomes 26 to the power of 2 into 10 to the power of 4. 10 to the power of 4. Such a huge collection it had been. Such a huge collection it had been. 26 to the power of 2 into 10 to the power of 4, which has been that means somewhere 67 lakh 60,000 individual number we can allocate. Could you understand what I am saying? So nobody should have any confusion, because in future we are going to take few number of examples where the problem would not get smashed with the help of permutation or combination. Keep in mind, because the concept of repetition is allowed. The concept of repetition is allowed. Could you understand what I am saying? So as far as this problem is concerned, the problem is distinctly different as we have been taking earlier. Their repetitions were not allowed, and that is why if the 26th number of alphabets could have been fed over here, we have been left out with the 25 number of possibilities if repetition is not allowed, and there even the permutation would work. Agreed? Agreed? Yes, yes, yes. Agreed, no? So till this point, I don't find any of these students would have any doubt. So I have been specifically discussing under a certain district of a certain state. Anyways, I think it's the right time to come back. It's the right time to come back. Here comes the second question of the day. How many ways the 2 balls can be picked from a container having 3 number of balls? May I know what the concept would be used over here? Should I be going behind the combination, or should I be going behind the permutation? So the person who wanted to give the answer, first refer the question number and then refer would it be a 3P2, 3C2, and then refer its perfect answer. Then refer its perfect answer. Could you understand why? So here the repetition is not been allowed. No, there they were allowed. That is why the answer was quite different. And anyways, the sort of problem which I wanted to discuss over the blackboard, no, we would take in future. Tell me what should be the answer over here. Here what has been happening? How many ways the 2 balls can be picked from the container having 3 number of balls? So here what had been happening? The n had been 3. N had been 3, obviously. N had been 3. And here the 2 number of balls has been picked out. And here their combination, their ordering does not make any sense. Because the 3 number of balls you have been had, either you have been picking first and second, either you have been picking second and third, either you have been picking 1 and third. So even if you will not apply the combination, then also manually you would be able to calculate how many ways it could have been done. 3 different ways it could have been done. 3 different ways it could have been done. Agreed? So what's going to be the structure of the problem over here? Sir, the 3 number of items we had. Out of that, the 2 number of items are being selected and their ordering does not make any sense. Yes. How do we calculate it? N factorial divided by of n minus of r factorial into of r factorial. 3 factorial would remain as it is. Yes, sir. If you want, you can write 3 into 2 factorial. Anyways, 2 factorial is also 2. 3 minus of 2, 1 factorial. 1 factorial is equals to of 1. And here you have been left out with 3. You have been left out with 3. Yes, Pooja, that's perfect. That's perfect. So what I am saying over here, like if you have the 3 number of balls, let's take it has been 1, it has been 2, it has been 3. And as per the problem, they are going to select the 2 balls together. How many ways they could have done? That has been the problem. You could have selected 1 and 2 together. Here the sequence I am not going to make any sense. No. In case of formation of a number, definitely even the sequence of the digit, whether it was 2, 3 or 3, 2 is going to make a different condition. But here it has not been like that. Sir, we have collected 1 and 2 together. Obviously, it could have been the first possibility. Similarly, sir, I have collected 2 and 3 together. It would be the second possibility, and end of the day, you can say, sir, I have been collected 1 and 3 together. It would be the third possibility. So as far as the answer of this problem is being concerned, with the help of combination, easily you could have smashed this problem out. Even manually, or even with the number of calculations, number of steps, you could have got the answer as 3. So how many people are able to get the answer? Manju says 3C2, that's very perfect. Aniket says 3C2, that's also very good. Identical ball, 3C2. Non-identical, 3P2. Nishant, I need to explain the concept once again because still so many concepts are yet to be discussed. Pranali says 3C2, that's perfect. Pooja Reddy says 3C2, that's very perfect, Pooja. And similarly, Subhangi also says 3C2, that's a very perfect. In the same sequence, I think it's right time to move upside and focus over the third question of the day. What had been this? How many ways the 4-digit long even distinct number, even 4-digit long even distinct number. So whether you are focusing over this particular words or not, but definitely this 4 to 5 number of words which this particular problem contains, changes this problem a bit. So I am repeating once again, how many ways a 4-digit long even distinct number can be fabricated using 2, 3, 5, 7 without repetition. Again the repetition is not allowed. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given problem. So here starts the solution. How many number of digits we have? The 4 number of digits we have. So all the way the number of items had been 4. But this problem also restricts somewhere that the formation of the number has to be strictly a even number. Tell me how much answer we are getting for this problem. We have been getting for this problem. And as far as the number of total items we had 2 as a digit, we had 3 as a digit, we have 5 as a digit, and we have 7 as a digit. So the answer have started coming. Again, I am saying focus over the concept. First to tell me the problem would be solved using the NPR or NCR, and if you have fixed that the answer would be coming from the NPR, you should also write the perfect value of N, perfect value of R. Then only I would accept your answer. 12, 13, 15, it's not going to make any sense at all because we are in at learning phase, and I expect during learning phase you should learn the basic concepts first. Then only you should focus over the answer and all. Tell me what would be the answer over here. See, out of the 4 digits you have, all of the 4 digits are going to get picked out. Unlike last to last problem. In last to last problem, we had the 4 different digits, and out of 4 different digits, we were picking only 2 digits. But as it has been clearly given, the number which has to be formed has to be an even number. That means there is no other way. The 2 has to get fixed towards units place. Yes, sir. The 2 has to get fixed towards unit place. No, sir. Yes, obviously. And now this 3, 5, 7 can come in first, second, or third, or even they can be distributed, or they can be permuted as per their possibilities. So one thing has been quite sure. As far as the 2 is being concerned, the 2 has got stuck over the units place, and now you have been battling for 2, 3, and 5 where they would get placed, and as they have been placing in different place, the different numbers are going to get framed, but all of them have been even number. Because as far as the problem is being concerned, as far as the number is being concerned, when a number is set to be an even number, if in its units place the number has been an even number which starts from 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Agreed what I am saying? So put together you can say you have been left out with the 3 different places. How many numbers for the choice you had? Only 3 numbers in the choice you had. So simply it's gonna be 3. Should I be using C or should I be using P? If you have collected 3, 5, 7. Even their sequences are also making sense. So here it becomes 3P3. And as we have been discussing in today's class, And even we have derived this in yesterday's class. NPN is equals to of n factorial, and here it becomes 3 factorial. Put together, it's simply going to be 6. It's simply going to be 6. Manju Reddy, the mistake you have been committing, that is what I am saying. Be continuous in my class. Definitely you are going to learn so many good things. So many good things. Agreed? Pooja, so probably the mistake which you were committing, no, now you would not commit. That is why there's plenty amount of problems we have planned to take. Because I know until and unless you would not do good amount of practice over the different kinds of the problem, over the concept of the probability, permutation, combination, Bayes theorem, standard word problem, you would not be able to crack most of the problem related to the probability. Pooja, would like to ask from you. Now, is this clear? Is this clear to you? Is this clear to you? So, how many answers we have got it? Aniket says 6. That is what I am saying. No, until and unless you are not referring the problem number, how will I know that the answer which have been given has been given for which particular problem? So, Nishant, you should improve that your answer giving skill from the next onwards. First, you put the question number and then you should write whether it has been a form of 3P4 or 5P4, and then you should write the answer. Then only I will actually understand what has been going on. What has been going on. Yes. So probably till this point, I don't find any of the student would have any sort of doubt. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, dear. Okay, then focus over the question number 4. Then focus over the question number 4. What it states. How many ways a 4-digit long odd number can be fabricated using 2, 3, 5, 7 without repetition? Without repetition. Tell me what should be the answer for this given problem. What would be the answer for this given problem? What would be the answer for this given problem? And nobody should give the answer in a form of the perfect numeric value. They should give the logic behind this problem, and that makes more sense. Tell me, what should be your logic for finding the different ways the number can be fabricated as per the given requirement which has been clearly prescribed over this problem, which has been clearly prescribed in this problem, which has been clearly prescribed in this problem. How many ways a 4-digit long odd number can be fabricated using 2, 3, 5, 7 without repetition? Without repetition. Tell me. Anyways, there are 2 different ways through which the problem could have been solved, and I would give you both of the formulas or both of the methods. Both of the methods. Tell me what would be the answer for this given problem. This problem should not take more than 60 seconds. This problem should not take more than 60 seconds. As per the Aniket Sahu, the answer would be 3 into 3 factorial. Answer according to him had been 18. Similarly, Nishant, 4 factorial minus of 3p3. 3p3. Anyone else apart from this? Anyone else apart from this? The 2 different methodology we have got it from the Aniket as well as Nishant. Probably both of them are getting the same answer. Let me check it out. Let me check it out. No. So here it had been 4 factorial. 4 into 3 into 2, and here it goes minus of 3 factorial. Yeah. Both have been getting the same answer. Both have been getting the same answer. And that's the beauty of the engineering mathematics. Both of them have been following the 2 different methods, and both of the methods have been perfectly well. Both of them have been getting the same answer, and that has been 18. See what had been the 2 different methods. Let me focus over the first method. Let's take, this has been the column of the first method, and here goes the second method. Here goes the second method. We have been made sure that the number which has to be framed has to be odd in nature. See what are the different numbers we can have. 4-digit number we had to make, no? And as you have made sure that the number which has to be get framed has to be odd number. So what we did in the first formation of the number, we have fixed that the units place would have the number as 3. So remaining 2, 5 and 7, 2, 5 and 7 are in search of their location. How many ways they could have been fed in? They could have fed in 3 factorial different ways, or they could have been fed in form of 3p3, and 3p3 is nothing but the 3 factorial itself. 3 factorial itself. Similarly, again, you have been in search of formation of odd number, but rather fixing 3 at last, we have fixed 5 at last. 5 at last, and we have been left out with the 2, 3 and 7. And now the 2, 3 and 7 digits have got the 3 different places. How many ways they could have been settled? 3 factorial different ways they could have been settled. They could have been settled. And here goes the last situation. Again the 4 different blocks you have been having. You had the 3 in a units place, you had the 5 in its units place, and now it's the time to feed 7 in its at unit place. How many digits you have been left out? You have been left out with the 2, 3 and 5. 2, 3 and 5. And again the 3 different places you had 3 factorial. And end of the day, you can't frame a number where at its units place the 2 exists, because the number would become an even number. The number would become an even number. 3 factorial, 3 factorial and 3 factorial. So the different ways the above requirement could have been fulfilled is simply going to be 3 into of 3 factorial, that had been 18 factorial. That had been 18 factorial. That had been 18 factorial. That could have been the first method. In second method, what we are going to do over here, all of the numbers, how many digits we had? The 4 digits we had, all have been brought together and has been used for formation of a number. Has been used for a formation of a number. May I know how many ways it could have been then? The 4 different digits you have, and you have been picking all of them and you have been ordering them together. So it had been a problem of 4p4, which is being equals to a 4 factorial. Which is being equals to a 4 factorial. But as the 4 factorial different kinds of the number which you have made, out of them, few numbers are the number which are even in nature. How did I know about it? Because in few of the numbers you would be having 2 at its units place. Definitely they had to be removed out. So what I would do, out of these 4 factorial numbers, we would try to understand how many numbers were the even number. If they have been removed out, definitely the remaining number would be perfectly odd number. So what we are going to do, again the same process has to be followed. Now the 2 has been deliberately fixed over here. And the 3 different numbers you have been left out with, and they have been 3, 5 and 7. And how many places you have been left with? 3 places you have been left at, and that has been 3p3, and which is nothing but the 3 factorial. End of the day, you have been left out with 4 factorial minus of 3 factorial. Here also you must get the answer is 18, because the mathematics is never going to get filled. The mathematics is never going to get filled. So would like to ask from each one of you, till this point the concept is clear or not? Till this point concept is clear or not? The student who have been following me new, probably the Pooja has started following us new. So Pooja, you can give the feedback. So this concept has been clear or not? This concept has been clear or not? And I would request Pooja, from yesterday's onwards, from the yesterday class onwards, we have started the concept of the probability, and which has been specifically marking towards gate. So you should start from the last video onwards for have the better feeling of the complete concept, for having the better concept. Yes sir, clear sir now? Yes. Whenever I seek any response, no, be passionate about it. So even it gives the energy, so that I would be pumping my 100% to all of the students. Yes. So this has been the 4th question of the day. And I would expect each and individual students who have been following my YouTube videos, they have been putting this all details, all informations on their respective copies. Yes, no? Okay, Pooja. Anyways, go ahead with the next question. See this all questions has been the design question. And I have been designing the questions as per the different scenarios. So let me go ahead with the next question, and that has been the 5th question of the day. Total 10 number of countries has been participating in ICC Cricket World Cup. So once you'll see in 2019, there were total 10 number of teams. Total 10 number of teams. How many ways the pair of final playing nations can be made? That means out of 10 number of items, although the items could be teams, item could be runners, item could be nut, bolt, machines, laptop, 555 IC, BJT, MOSFET. That means we are just treating each and individual things as an item itself. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given problem. Anyways, from here the solution do start. Solution do start. Read the problem carefully. Try to decode almost all sort of the juggleries or the concepts which has been involved within this problem, and just get it the answer with the maybe 1 or 2 number of steps. Maybe 1 or 2 number of steps. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given problem. What would be the best most answer for this given problem? Should I be repeating this problem once again? Probably it is clearly visible to all of us, but still I am going to repeat the question word by word. The problem states total 10 numbers of countries have been participating in ICC Cricket World Cup. That means in 2019 we had ICC Cricket World Cup, but now also in this year also we had probably T20 cricket World Cup, no? T20 Cricket World Cup. But probably it's not going to take place in India because the IPL is also being abandoned because of the effect of corona. Anyways, forget about all. Focus over this problem. In 2019, we had the 10 number of teams. Out of 10 number of teams, we had to finalize the 2 final playing nation. How many ways it could have been done? 10C1 into 9C1, what it is? I couldn't understand, my dear fans, what had been the situation over here. The 10 number of items you had, and out of 10 number of items, you are going to select the 2 number of items. That's it. Either it could be the first team, the last team, it could be the first team, the second team, it could be the first team, second last team, it could be the third, fourth. What you have been doing over here? Out of the 10 number of items, out of the 10 number of countries, you have been picking the 2 countries, and you are not going to do any ordering because both of them are going to play the game at all. So it's simply going to be the problem of NCR where the 10 number of items has been there, and you are going to select, collect, pick the 2 number of items, which is simply going to be 10 factorial, 10 minus of 2 factorial, that's 8 factorial, into of 2 factorial. Anyways, I am not focusing much over this answer and all, because within, if you'll feed this data over the calculator, you would be getting its perfect most answer. So I don't find this must have been any sort of doubt to anybody's brain. Now what I am saying, if this problem has changed its pattern a bit, total 10 numbers of countries has been participating in ICC Cricket World Cup 2019. How many ways I'm just rubbing this part of this question out and going to design a different problem. How many ways winner and first runner up can be made or can be decided? So obviously in 45 different ways it could have been done. So here what we have been doing, my dear friends, is still the number of items had been 10. And still we had to select the last 2. But there the ordering do also make sense, because the last two countries who are going to play the final, among them the one is going to win. Like this year the England got win, and now the New Zealand is gonna be a runner-up. Even if the probability would have been different, in the final match the New Zealand could have been on almost, I would say the New Zealand was only the winner, because the way they have been playing, the way the game was going on, and almost all of the laws the ICC is being used, I would say the New Zealand was winner. But if I take another scenario, rather winning the England, if the New Zealand could have win that match, so what would have been the order? Instead, England as winner and New Zealand as a first runner-up. The New Zealand would have been runner, and similarly the England would have been the first runner-up. Could you understand what I am saying? Yes, no. So here what is happening over here? Out of 10 number of team, you are not only going to select the 2 number of teams, even their sequence also do make sense. Because out of 2, you have allocated their designation. The country who is going to win the match, or the final match, they would be called as a winner, and the country who could not win the final match would be called as a first runner-up. That means out of 10 number of teams, we are not only selecting the 2 teams, even their ordering is also making sense. Agreed? So may I know what should be the answer over here? The same concept which we have been using. 10 factorial divided by 8 factorial. 10 factorial divided by 8 factorial. Clear, no? So I do not exactly remember. Few of the students had the doubt at very beginning, so that we are not able to put our logic very clear that the problem would be dealt with the help of permutation and combination. Definitely those students would have a little bit clarity. Still I have not taken even a half of the problem which are supposed to be taken for the permutation and combination. May I know till this point each and everything is clear or not? I don't find any of the student would have any sort of doubt now. Is that part clear? If it is clear, write clear over the live chat. Write clear over the live chat. In the same sequence, the sixth question would be the last question of the day. Anyways, read this problem word to word, and then we would try to describe this problem. We will try to decode this problem. The problem states, how many ways a new random word 5 alphabets long can be made using the alphabet A, B, C, D, E without repetition. Without repetition. It's the same problem which we have been taking so far. How many number of alphabets you had? Earlier we have been playing with the digits, but now the alphabet have come into the picture. Obviously 5 number of alphabet we had, you can say the 5 number of items you had. Yes? Agreed? No? Agreed? Now what is happening over here? Out of 5 number of items, you are going to select all of the 5 number of items. That means the R is also same as 5. But here we had to put our brain that whether their sequence is going to make any sense. Yes, they are going to make any sense. Like if you have made a word which has been a 5 alphabet long, like it could have been A, B, C, D, it could have been A, C, B, D, E, they all are going to make the different words. So out of n number of items, not only you are going to select the R number of items, even their ordering are also going to make sense for you. So obviously here it goes 5p, and here it goes 5. End of the day, the result which we are supposed to get, it's been 5 factorial. Anyways, probably we would spend around 2 hours more over the permutation and combination, because this has been the core problem of the permutation and combination, and now the concept which has been involved within the permutation and combinations would be extended towards the probability. Those part would be seen probably tomorrow as well as day after tomorrow. So the student who are willing to attend the electromagnetic field theory class, which would start from 10:30 onwards, obviously they can come on our live app, and probably from yesterday's or today's onwards, it is only for the paid users. Okay then, bye bye, take care, good night.